Yep. Hello and welcome back to the grind. Let me get this thing turned around so you don't have to look at me. There's the 1976 BMW 2002. And this week was all at the back end of the car here. Putting the subframe back into it and new bushings everywhere you look. New bushings, new bushings, new bushings, new bushings, new bushings, new bushings, and all that. And then new bushings up here. So all back together, like, and it's nice and solid and tight. The only place that didn't get new bushings was this at the sway arm there, the original bushings right there, and over here. Now, in the meantime, while I'm underneath here, I figured I better fix the brake lines. So the new brake line goes around and a new fuel line goes around all the way to here. It stops about halfway up the car, and I'll join on to it again after that. But before I put all the differential in and everything like that, I put the fuel line up in there, and it went together just nicely. And then the rubber line comes out to here and into where the tank goes. Now, what else is, and brake line comes across, you can see it going out there, plus new brake lines to the wheels, to the wheel cylinders, and new flexi tubes on it. So, there you go. And that's where the brake line comes out to the wheel cylinder, which isn't there yet. But all back to, like, all the hard stuff is done, I think. Well, and everything's done to there anyhow. The differential's in place, the springs are in it, and it's all went together fairly nice, and without any drama. So stick around, see everything that happened, and enjoy it. Like, subscribe, or not, whatever you like, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. Okay, where am I? This is just starting up again, right? Okay, here I am back at the grind here. Now I've got this rear differential all out of it, right? Need some light in here. What's going on? And then this kit arrived with all the new pieces for, like, these things, right? But what it does is this piece here came, and it's only just a reinforcement for this, for the one that's actually in there already. You don't take that out, you just leave it in. I suppose I should have put some grease on that, but I didn't. Anyway, that's how that works. I'll put some grease on this side. I didn't put any grease on the other side. And that you just slam it in with like a piece of wood and a hammer. I'll show you when I do it. I'll put some grease on it. Yeah, here it is. So this piece here, you just slide it over that, right like that. On this one, just about slides right in there without thinking about it. So, whoops, it just about knocked over you. How can I? Hang on, I'll get you tightened up there. There we go. Try that. See what happens. Knock you over again. There, so that's that piece in there, and that all that is, I guess, is a reinforcement for the rubber that's already existing in there. That's good, because I didn't really want to try taking that out. Good thing I didn't before, because that would have been a bit of a disaster. I remember when I did the E24, which is over there in the other shop in the tent. Those were a hell of a job to get them out of there, so maybe that's a better solution, because there's nothing. When I did take it apart, there was nothing really wrong with the rubber that was in there. This thing here just makes it a bit tighter, I guess, eh? Now, I've got all of the pieces for the front in here, and I've checked them out. So, got these rubbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 there is 8, so there's 16 altogether. Now the rubbers that go in here, in between, and the rubbers that go in here, in between, and here, in between. So that's that looked after. I'll figure out how that all comes together because one side's wider than the other, but we'll figure that out later. Front end comes later. Right now I'll work on the back end. So now I've got that on there. I may just slide that up into place and get that out of my way because that's good. So I've got these rubbers here, so I'll get these ones pulled out of there. And these ones should just slide back. I'm not sure whether there's a metal sleeve here that may take that. Comes with the insert, right? Gonna check that bolt size and make sure that fits in there. Yeah, so those bolts fit through there. All right, no sweat. That's good. Now these things here, I kind of think there's a metal sleeve there that has to come out, so I'll see if I can get that pressed out of there. That might take a bit of work, but we'll get there. Then these are just normal bushings for tripping over stuff for right here. Yeah, they'll fit in there fine, we hope. Let's see if they fit into here where they have to go. It fits there, short there, so there must be a long one and a short one. Well, maybe I'm about all the same. I'll check and see if there's a long one and a short one here. Did I point in the right way there? Like this one here is a little bit of a tight fit, but maybe that one's a bit bent. This one here, room. Imagine that'll tighten up all right. That one there is close. That one there is same idea. So they'll be fine. They get a sleeve inside there, which is that sleeve there. And then the bolt goes through that. Which might be one of these bolts, eh? That fits. Yeah, so I think everything's good. Okay, got all the pieces that I need. These ones here are going to be the most difficult ones. Okay, now, that was the easiest one, which I thought was going to be the hardest one. That one there. But now I'm going to get this mounted into the car. I think that's okay to do. And then if I have to, I'll drop it to be able to get the springs in. But that's later. Yeah, so I tried lifting that on to no avail. But then I figured, well, just put it on top of the ladder and then let the car down on top of it. That seems to work all right. See if it'll finish going on there. Might take a bit of a whack. Eh? I'll get a hammer and see. Oh, here's a hammer right here. That side's loose. Okay. Okay, that's gone past the nuts. And I cleaned that up on the wire wheel, the hardware. Then there's a couple of, I wonder if that has to have a whack, that, or if it's not all the way up there yet. We'll see. See what happens. Don't want to wreck my ladder, right? That might just take a little bit more letting down. We'll see. See what happens. Yeah, that sounds like it went home there. Now, for right or for wrong, there, that's just loose on there so it doesn't fall off. Then now I can, I've got these things here which go on it with your $5 overhaul. A little bit of black paint, make them look good. Maybe I'll take them in and put them on right now, just because. What the hell, eh? One goes right here. Like that. Then the nut goes on. And then it also gets fastened onto that nut right there. Okay, I'll get the other one. Yeah, so here's another one of those learn from my mistakes episodes. Here's the flexi for the rear brake. And don't you think I should have taken that apart before I put this in the way? Oh well. Imagine I could drop that down out of the way if I wanted to. If it gets difficult, I will. But I'll get them. I put some oil on them. See if I can get them off of there. This thing here all just went back together nice. Now it slides up and down easy, so it's centered nicely. That's good. And I keep hitting my head on stuff, so this guy's got to go up a bit higher. Going on. There. Okay, I'll see if I can get those brake bits off of there. Yeah, I don't think they're that old, these things. I wonder how you can tell the date on them, if there is such a thing. Anyway, but they both came off easy, and they're clean. They're clear. Nothing wrong with them. But new ones are coming. They're not expensive parts, so might as well put new ones on while I'm there. I got new ones for the back, and I got new ones for the front. But I'll save them in my hoard, because sometimes I look for brake parts that, just in case, eh? Okay, and now carry on with the next bit of it. Yeah, I got the press going. See if that thing there will come out of there. I've got one side out, so hopefully the other side will come out. I put a bit of... There we go. You can hear that when it happens, right? That's it. There it is there. Luckily nothing wrong with it, except it is a little bit off center there. This one here, it got most of the way out, but it didn't come all the way out. We'll get it the rest of the way out. Handy to have a press around. That's off. Okay. It's also handy to have these huge sockets around. This is a, what is it? 2 3/16 is the biggest one I have. That's big. Yeah, now to get them out of here, I'll using this tool here. Don't know if it's got to the end of it here yet or not. We'll just see. Oh, I got more to go. But I'm getting to the end of this, right? So maybe I'll have to screw that in a bit there. Okay. Maybe I'll put some oil on that too. Okay. Yeah, that piece came out. It's really not in that bad a shape, but I imagine it's a little bit oblong. And then this one here is going to go in all right. So I won't do that yet. I won't do this one yet till I get that side out. Then I'll clean it up and make it look good. The other one there I've got, where am I with that? Oh, this has to stay over here. It's kind of quitting time now anyhow. I started late. I was waiting for the UPS guy. It said that I had a sign for whatever was coming, but then he didn't make me sign anyhow. So this piece here has got your $2 paint job on it, $2 overhaul, and we'll see about, I'll leave it overnight and I'll see about putting these bushes in there tomorrow. I think they go this way. Don't know if it matters. Oh, pardon me. Let's have a look here. What do I remember? Those things slide right in there like that. I think this part here gonna take some pushing to get them in there. Maybe it's got to go that way. No, looks like that's where it got to go right there. But that's I'll give it a try. If at the worst, I'll put the old ones back in, because this is it'll fit once you get it past that end piece there. Maybe I'll give one a try right about now. Yeah, so it goes together. That was easier than I expected. I've got lots of that grease. This comes with this urethane grease. Lots of that on it. Then I put one on the outside and one on the inside, and we'll see if we can get that squeeze in there. I'll just set you up right there. Right? You want to be watching there somewhere. See what happens. Up a bit with this. Oops. Now you got to get this all lined up nicely, eh? That's not lined up very well, is it? See if it'll go in. Oh, on a bit of an angle there. If it's on a bit of an angle, this won't go. Eh? That worked. So hopefully they're in the right way. If not, I can turn them around the other way. Anyway, that took quite a bit of going to get that done. Anyway, they're in. I think they fit where they're supposed to fit here. This is what holds the back of the motor up, or the back of the, like it slides into here, like that. And then this goes up into here, right here. Whoops, where am I pointing? In between these two things. Yeah, so that'll slide up in there. Anyway, that's enough for today. I'll come back again tomorrow. See you later. Yeah, no, I've been 3 or 4 days maybe since I dropped everything on the floor. Anyway, back on the car, and where I left off was getting these things out of here with this little tool that I made. So now I'll get the next one out, and then I'll clean this up, give it the $2 paint job, take these off of here, I guess, clean it all up, and see about putting it back onto the car. That's not going to be too difficult because I've got this thing here already in there with a wrench on top, so I'll lose that later. There we go. Now these, I haven't tightened these up yet. They'll push that up into place. And I guess it'll work out. We'll see. Something to look forward to here. Yeah, something to pay attention to when this is coming apart. So you see the big side here, the big end is out. This part here is facing outward, and the same thing here, it goes in with the big part facing that way. So that way and that way. So I'll get this one out of here, I hope, and then get it cleaned up and see what it looks like after that. Yeah, so I went over it with a wire wheel. Wasn't too worried about this stuff inside. It was pretty clean in there anyhow. And then gave it a quick coat of paint. That ought to just make it look good for a while. Hey, all right, there we go. On to the next one. Yeah, like lots of stuff, automotive, heat is your friend. So I found out after the first one, you put a bit of heat to this and it comes out pretty easy. Not so hard on the tools. Yeah, there, I'll just go splash that with a quick coat of paint. Just taking off all the rough stuff and put the paint over it. It's rust paint, so it'll just either stick to it or not, and that'll be good. Anyway, I'll show you when it's done. Anybody wondering if it damaged it when it fell? Well, yes indeed. I guess I'll see if I can straighten that out. Yeah, it's mostly straightened out there again now. When I get the brake drum on there, I'll do a little bit more with it and see. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, so they go together, sort of opposite the way, except you don't need that big washer on them so much, as much. So I put the red part in first, then I'll put the liner in the red part. And I don't use the impact wrench when I'm doing this. I just let them go by running in by hand, which they go pretty easy, these things. Yeah, there, those are in. So this metal sleeve goes in the middle, and we'll just, hopefully that'll fit into the car. They did a little while ago, so, and then they squeeze tight. So I gotta mount this in. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I had to have a sneezing fit. So I'm gonna mount this into the car up there, and then hopefully the other one will be dry by the time I finish doing that, and I'll put these things into it. Yeah, you might just get to see a lot of my head here. I was set up on the other side a minute ago, but wrong side, right? Oh well. See what we can do. Yeah, that was a struggle. So you're going to make sure you put the heads of the bolts on the inside. Otherwise, you'll never be able to get it apart when the differential's on here, right? Oh, am I pointing right? Anyway, I'll put the nuts on and tighten them down. And they should be tightened, I think, after the suspension is sitting at normal ride height. So I'll just put them on snug now. Everything goes on snug now and it'll get tightened up later. That's going to be a pain in the ass to get into that, but oh well, that's what life's all about. Here's another case of learn from my mistakes business. That side there was difficult. This side here a little bit easier. All you need is a little bit of bracing, right? Anyway, there, that's on, and I'll get I have to get that nut on there, so then I'll take down my bracing. Yeah, there. So I put the little metal inserts into this thing here, which is the differential rear mount thing. And I haven't taken that down yet, but I will. That's all set to go. Tomorrow I'll put the springs up, or the next time out. Might be a day or two before I get out here again. But I'll put the springs up, and is that what I have to do? Yeah. So if I put the springs up and then then put the differential on it, and then tighten it up into place, that might be the right way to do it. We'll see. Don't know for sure yet, but we'll just keep on working at it. That actually worked out all right. So subframe is good and solid, all welded up, and it goes together reasonably easy. Well, reasonably, that's a good word. But you know, same thing. Here's the brake lines back in there and they'll be coming, you know, in a few days. They'll likely show up. But oh well. There we go. Talk to you. See you later. Oops, sorry. There you are. Try again. Yeah. So what did I tell you? As soon as I put this up, those parts arrived. So what I'm going to do is get these on, these two brake lines up into there. Then I'll move on to the next thing. I'll likely tape over the end of them. So until I get I guess I could put that brake line out here right away, right? That'd be a good thing to do. Just make a new brake line there. Okay, that's what I'll do. Yeah, oh, sorry. So see back in there, that's where the brake line goes from there to the front of the car. And that's off and over here. Now it was cut off. Here it is, here. I can't see that very well, eh? There we go. Anyway, that's how much there is of it, and then it's cut off right at the middle there. Same, and then same with the fuel line. Here's a fuel line. Well, that's the rubber part, and here's the metal part that goes through there. So perhaps what I'll do is see if I can make fuel line. It's easy to make a joint in the fuel line. I got a thing for it over there, and it's not a high pressure line, so it's not a big deal. So maybe I'll run the fuel line and the brake line to here, somewhere about here, where I know they go to, and I could always leave enough brake line coiled up to get to. Wonder where it goes, eh? The brakes are over here. So it's got to go across here, maybe along here, these things. So where's it go? I think it went, whoops, did you hear that? I don't know if that's for the speedometer cable, maybe. Or if that's for the speedometer cable. That might be for brake line and gas line. So it's got to get in there somehow into that tunnel. So it likely goes across here. Yeah, there's a holder here. So it must come across here, up and over and into these, and then up into there. Okay. Well, I'll leave enough brake line so that I can make that. There's a holder here. There's a holder here. Yeah, should be able to do that. Okay, and then I'll just make the gas line, the fuel line up to about here somewhere. And then I can put a joint in it here to make the bend and then put a joint. I don't know yet. Gas line's hard to manipulate, and I've got lots of it there, so lots of room for error. Okay. Oh well, I didn't think I'd be making brake lines today, but I guess that's what I'm doing. See if I can get you up here somewhere. Hang on. As long as that stays pretty handy there, we'll be all right. Yeah, so there's the original brake line. I cleaned off these fittings. So it's bubble fit, or whatever they call it. Bubble. What do they call it? Bubble squeeze or whatever. Anyhow, you put this in here. That's got your 45 DIN type of holder there. Then that's operation 0. I think you've seen all this before, but what the hell, eh? Then you tighten it down good. This operation 0 just makes everything flat there. Then all it takes is operation 1 DIN. Yeah, DIN 3/16 operation 1. I think that's 1, yep. Oops. And we'll have a look at it and see if I got it right. Looks okay. Well, we'll see. Yeah, that's a good bubble flare. See that? I don't know if you, is it in the shadow? Likely. Oh, yeah, there you can kind of see it. Bring it in the light. Anyway, one done. Make sure you put the fitting on before you go in the machine, right? Put that back to operation 0. So at this end, about right there, got to bend about a 90 degree, right? Right there. That's pretty close. A little bit more maybe. Then right here, it's got to bend back. That's got to be a bit more bent this way. That's pretty close. Then it gets to here. Those I got to tape them together or something. I'll tape them together. Hang on. Kind of like that, right? Then this has to bend right here. Kind of like that. And right about there. Gotta come right around. Tight corner, eh? Something like that. I think that's about right. Pretty close. I'll try it out, see if it fits on. Left-hand side. Yeah, there, that's on here. And the rubber line goes into back here to that one. Then there's a new line here. And right here, there's a clampy thing made out of metal. It had a rubber around it, so I've just put electric tape around there. And then it'll come into the brake cylinder right here. So that's actually fits. Hey, try and make another one now. Okay, there's number 2. Here's number 1, right? Number 2, it's got a little bend in there that I replicated. And it seems to go right into there, and it goes right into there all right. So I must have bent it right. This one here is good. Everything looks fine. Wonder what, that's where the, oh yeah, that's where the sway bar goes in, right? Okay. Anyway, that's all for today. Short day today. I got started late. Anyway, there's time to go. See you later. Okay, here I am back at it. So now, what am I going to do? I'm going to make the brake line that goes from there around here and back down there that way. And I may just put an end on it right about here, and maybe right about here. I'll just put an end on it, and then that I can tie into later. I've got in my box of goodies here. Oh, move this out of the way. So I've got this kind of that's 10mm stuff, and that can use as a joiner. So I'll just, put an extra end at each end of it. Good, that'll work. So here's the one that goes around the back of the car. Up to here, I followed the bends, but then that part there was no bends to follow. But I did put at this end, I put a joiner on there. That's a bubble flare joint. So I've got a bunch of these. These are, if you look inside there, can you see in there? Focus. That's a double flare end. These ones in this bucket here are a bubble flare end. Can you see in that? Oh, I'll get some light up there. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. Hard to see that stuff. Anyhow, that's a bubble flare, that one. And so that's what I've got at the end of that. Bubble flare, everything here, bubble flare. Okay. There you go. So hooked in here, and it's got a holder right there. Then it joins into, same as the gas line goes along here, fuel line, in that holder, and then along here, gonna held up there. And then I put this little thing right there just to hang on to it. Then it'll go to here. I'll put a joint in there. It goes up and across those things later. Same with the gas line. So I'll get the gas line to about here also. That'll be good. There, I didn't want to bore you with bending these tubes. So that'll be enough fuel line. Gotta cut that off right about there. And it comes through the wall right here and joins onto the metal there. It used to be rubber all the way around to here. Don't know why. So I put in metal all the way around. And then that's where the brake line comes in, and then the clippy things there. Clippy, clippy, clippy. All the original clippy things are still good. And this is aluminum pipe, so it won't rust, or everything rusts, but aluminum corrodes differently. Anyway, so it goes through there, along this edge here with the brake lines, and then clippy thing, clippy thing, clippy thing, clippy thing up there. Then I put this holder here just temporarily until I want to figure out what to do with it. And then the brake line stops here, the gas fuel line stops there, and then that's all. I'll add another fuel line onto here. I'll just put a direct connect on here and run it up here where it's supposed to go, we hope, once I figure out where it's supposed to go, because I don't really know where it's supposed to go yet. Anyway, that's the back end here plumbed, right? So I can carry on now, finish putting all this stuff together as I go. So I think next up is, what's next up? Next up, I think I'll put the differential on here. Or maybe I'll put the springs. Maybe I'll put the springs on. See if I can get the springs on, and then I'll put the differential on. Not that it really makes a great deal of difference. But if I get the springs on, then that's going to be holding some of the weight for the differential, blah, blah. Oh well, we'll see. Okay, that's what I'll do. Yeah, here we go. Try and get this on here. Now you see right there, that's the index where the spring goes into. And down here, see this little bumpy thing here? Right there? That's where this pad will sit on there. That pad on top, I didn't take it out, so I presume, I figure it's in the right spot. Anyway, now, and then this is the bump stop, which is fine. I won't stick with that. So I'm going to let the car come down. I'm going to get the spring sort of started up on there. Then I'll let the car come down and get it lined up on this side. See what happens. Well, so far that's easier than I expected. It's down to here. A little bit of a gap over there, but I think it's okay. Then this thing has to come down just another little bit to make the meet. So I'll bring it down just a tiny bit more and see if that will do it. I think it does. Yeah, that'll meet on there. So I'll put this in and that'll hold it from going back. Cool. I think that's about as easy as it gets right there. And it seems to be, it's sitting there. So, isn't that something? Easier than I thought it would be. I was expecting a battle royale for this, but not, indeed it's not. Okay, see if I can get this onto here, right? This being the shock absorber. I think a little bit of a hammer would be appropriate there. What did I walk on? Don't know. I'll come back with a hammer. Yep. How do you like that, eh? Then this washer goes on and the nut goes on. And it's a happy world. I won't tighten that nut up yet. Beyond there. Isn't that something there? So that spring installed. Now, here's the test. Now it goes up. See what happens when I push it up. Yeah, there we are. That's how it's supposed to be. Cool. Give it some light here. Now I got to do the other side. The other side might be more difficult because I'm a long way from the lift. I have to go back and forth to line things up. But I think we're pretty close. Okay. Might see the back of my head a bunch, but anyway, here we go. I'll let the lift down a little bit. Yeah, here I was anticipating hours to do this, and it takes minutes. Can't complain about that, I guess. And this hose here goes in here somewhere. Now, next is maybe getting the differential up into there, right? Is that right? Is that the next thing, or should I put the sway bar on? Maybe I'll put the sway bar on, and then I'll put the differential up. So here's the sway bar. I cleaned it up. Whoops. There's the sway bar. I cleaned it up. This thing here is loose. Okay, let me get that on. Yeah, so now the sway bar hooks on here and bolts on there. See what happens here. Yeah, so this has got a little hooky thing in the bottom of it. Falls into there, right? Falls into there, like that. Then the nuts are here, or the bolts. I'll have to get a clamp on that somehow. Yeah, so you saw me struggling before with that other thing. I'll turn off that light that is shining in here. How's that? That any better? This one here is shining right in your eye too. Okay, so you saw me struggling with that nut back there underneath. Got that in. I had to take the nut off, the bolt off, and re-thread it. Then this thing here, it gets the little red thing on top, right? Then it gets this next. And I put grease on the bolt here. That goes up like that, and they sit together. This was bent up. It must have got bent when I was dropping it one time. Never know, hey? Then there's one of these things. They go with the little hooky thing down, or away from the red part, call it that. Then that goes on. Then I need another washer thing. This time the hooky thing goes up. Then one of these things. The little indent on them, I'll show you here in a second. There's the last one. I don't know if you can see that little indent on there. That goes into the inside of the whatever you're hooking it to. Last one of these, right? The dirtiest one. I don't know why I saved the dirtiest one for last. I cleaned them all off, except this one fell down underneath the thing, the wire brush thing. There, now that goes like that. Now I have to tighten it on. Roundabout there, I think is right. Feels good. Then the other nut goes on here, and it holds it like it gets double nutted. Gotta get a skinny wrench in there. Hang on, I'll get a skinny wrench. Then they get double nutted like that, and that's solid. Okay, the other side is the same. I'll show you how I clean them up on the wire wheel. Yeah, the years and years of being in there have warped them a bit. That's better. I think just the one side, sort of, whatever side gets torqued on is the side that's not, like this one here is a bit bent. Two of them are bent and two of them are straight. That's fixed. Okay, I'll go to the wire wheel over there and we'll do some wire wheeling. Now we'll see about the differential. So I got to put it on, slide it in there. We'll just see. It didn't get any lighter, but it was sitting down there, that's for sure. I had to spend a bunch of time cleaning hardware. First, I'll just one second ago I had that in the hand. There it is. First, I'll just tighten these up a little bit. I'll snug them up, not too much. Okay, that's tight, that's tight, that's tight, that's tight. Same amount of thread in each one. That's tight, that's tight, that's tight, that's tight, that's tight, that one's tight, that's tight, that's tight. Everything's good. Now, I have to torque them yet. I'll do that tomorrow or something. But next is to put the axles in and maybe put the wheels together. I guess I got to tighten these up too. I'll just tighten them down right now. Whilst I'm thinking about it, I wonder where my wrench went. Disappears. Everything disappears. Happy with that. Good. So that's the rear, what do you call this thing? Rear subframe. Put back together mostly. Put the axles on tomorrow and then we'll go from there. Okay. That's all for today, so see you tomorrow. Yeah, there we go. That's I've taken a look at the footage and there's already enough for a whole video. So I'll cut this one off here. Sort of got the all the little red, whatever you call these things, bushings in. So everything's got new bushings all the way along here, except for the sway arm, which has the original bushings right there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get a light. Let me get a light. Where's my light? Here it is. Yeah, so those sway arm bushings right there, they didn't come in the kit. But now this is all, like, that's got to get tightened up. Everything's got to get, what do you call that? Torqued down eventually. But for the most part, it's the rear suspension is back together. Yay. So I'll cut this one off here because it's getting kind of long, and then we'll come back to it next week and get the axles on and the brakes put back together and all that kind of stuff. There's quite a bit of work to do there. Okay, hope you enjoyed it all, and see you later. Yeah, I see that I didn't tighten up these yet. I forgot to. So that needs to be tightened up. That one needs to be tightened up. So that'll be a tomorrow thing. Those 4 sway arm things have to be, well, what's this? Trailing arm. Those 4 trailing arm things have to be tightened up. Okay, well, we'll get to that. Yeah, okay. It's sometime in April. Maybe the 25th, maybe the 26th. Saturday, anyhow, whatever that is. And then, calm day today, but chilly and foggy this morning. It's cleared off now. Looks like the tide's up. Lobster season started yesterday, I think it was, yeah. So the lobster boats are out. You hear them at nighttime coming in. Got lots of water in the bay today. Okay. And the doggie's just normal. There you go. See you later.